Hello, everybody. This is José Ignacio from the Uncomfortable Dialogues 2022.
I am honored and delighted to have Rosa María Gimenez with us. Rosa María leads the Bioregional Crop Protection Organization for an agricultural global corporation headquartered in Chicago, Illinois. In this role, she sets a strategic vision and works with her team, securing a successful global implementation. Throughout her 25 years of business expertise, she has served in multiple global roles in various corporations, developing assertiveness, candor, and a very, very effective leadership style. Without any further ado, welcome Rosa María to the Uncomfortable Dialogue 2022. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thankfully. Everyone is doing okay, and we're keeping busy.
Well, this is not business as usual, isn't it? So you have been
It's
facing quite a
not.
few challenges.
Well, it is in some ways, and it isn't in other ways. At least in the business that I am a part of, things kept moving with the same cadence. Meetings, important get-togethers, report backs, projects had to go on. It was like, especially because we are in the agricultural business, and that didn't stop. It's such an essential business, and it has such an important role in our society that it had to keep moving. So we kept producing product, we kept shipping product, we kept working on projects. We just had to do it in a different way. We had to, instead of going out and visiting customers and getting together in meetings, traveling as much as we used to travel, we had to relearn how to do all that from our screens in our homes. That has changed also because we've been with this COVID for enough time that we've had different stages, right? We were in lockdown first for several months, then we slowly got back to the office, and the different strains of COVID have hit us. So we've had these moments where we have to go back home, and then we have to come back into the office, and we're just learning how to respond to the information that we have on hand that day, and that's how we've done it.
Excellent. Yeah, Rosa Maria, you and I are coming from immigrant families. Our families came way, way back in time from Europe, but they were facing major crises. And the crisis we're facing today is probably very different to the crisis they were facing, but in a way, it's a crisis. So have you read something from your family history so that you say, oh, my grandfather used to do these kind of things, therefore I can really apply these ideas moving forward?
Well, that's a great question because I have thought about my grandparents a great deal during this pandemic time. Of course, what they lived was very different, wars and some pandemics on their own, right? Um, One of my great grandmothers died from the Spanish flu back in the day. So I think about that, not necessarily thinking about specific lessons, but yes, thinking about the resilience and the certainty that things are going to get tough. And when they get tough, you just have to face them and take life one day at a time and make sure that you keep going and keep the future in your mind while keeping your feet one day at a time. So I think that's what I have thought about in thinking about my grandparents and that generation that had to go through so much and still had to keep going. So
Okay.
it's an optimism that it's just good to be here, good to be alive, and we are meant to face challenges. So we better just put a smile on and move on.
What have you learned as it relates to facing uncertainty or becoming resilient running your business?
So every time I think about that, Jose Ignacio, I think that it's learning how to deal with uncertainty and living through these crises. For me, it's about paradigms. as I was saying, it's learning how to live with what you have today and take life one day at a time, and still have your eyes set high on the longer term horizon, right?
Mhm.
You cannot just be so stuck in the today, what's happening today, because this shall pass. As we've learned from other generations and from history, um, things change all the time. So you need to prepare, you need to keep working today for the future. So planning and setting goals and performing towards those goals is also very important, while understanding that the situation can change anytime, right? And your assumptions can change anytime.
So in a way, it's planning, but assuming that the plans may change.
Exactly.
Now,
Exactly.
do you feel a little bit vulnerable because you don't know all the answers that your people may ask you?
Uh, in my case, I don't. I don't feel vulnerable in that sense. Of course, we're all very vulnerable because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how long this is going to take. We don't know all the implications of this pandemic right now, here today, right? We didn't know that there was going to be this supply chain crisis.
Mhm.
We didn't know that the consequences were going to be in the shape and form that we didn't even think about, right? So in that way, we are vulnerable, even if we don't think we are. But having all the answers, I've never aspired to have all the answers. So I think I can cope pretty well with just working with what I have and trying to understand as better as I can the situation with the data that you have, and accepting what you don't know. It's okay to say I don't know, but that's an important question and we need to find an answer, or build a scenario, or make some good assumptions based on information that's available. So assumptions, scenarios, those are great tools to cope.
Rosa Maria, this is the final item to cover today. If your two daughters were to ask you, what would be your single advice for them facing any future crisis?
Well, that's such an important question because what a great opportunity this crisis has been to set the stage for the next generation and role model some things that they could use in the future. Because, as you say, it's almost sure that they're going to have to face their crises of their own. So, what would we like them to have in the future? I would say, and sorry if I repeat myself, but this resilience, this confidence that no matter how tough things get, you have to focus on what you have, not on what you don't have, not what in the past, but on what you have, and make the best out of it. My two daughters had to graduate remotely, online in classes, and of course, that was not the plan, right? But that's how it happened, and we had fun with it too. Learning to make the most out of whatever you have to face. I think that's the best teaching we can give the next generation and our own, right? Not to victimize ourselves too much. I mean, maybe we can do that for 5 minutes, and then we just have to keep moving uh, and getting the best out of what life gives us in any specific day.
I like the discussion, Rosa Maria, very much. So, we begin talking about our great grandparents. They were resilient as they came to America. We are resilient facing the current crisis, and your advice to your daughters is being resilient. So, everything is kind of all connected into resiliency. Thank you very much. For everybody else watching this webcast, if you have any question to Rosa Maria or to myself, just make sure that you write it down here in YouTube on LinkedIn and we'll get back to you. Thank you very much.